Captain Taesung walked across the bridge of his ship, the Indomitable. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. Outside the windows, stars stretched in every direction. They had been out here for 3 months now, making maps of space that no human had ever seen before. It was quiet work, but important. He stopped beside his first officer, Dae-ho, who was reading reports on a screen. Everything looked normal. The crew was doing their jobs. The ship's systems were all working fine. It was just another day in deep space. "Captain, I'm getting something strange," Ji-won said from her station. She was the communications officer, always listening to the signals that traveled through space. She looked confused as she adjusted her equipment. Tae-sung walked over to her. "What is it?" "A distress signal. It's an old galactic trade language. Someone is asking for help." Ji-won played the message. A voice came through, high and musical, filled with fear. Even through the translation, Tae-sung could hear the panic. "This is Velen Transport Convoy Delta 7. We are under attack. Repeat, we are under attack. 6 ships trapped. 2,000 civilians. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need help. The Krathar have us surrounded. We cannot escape." The bridge went quiet. Everyone had stopped what they were doing. They all knew about the Krathar Syndicate. Pirates, criminals who attacked weak ships and took what they wanted. They were known across the galaxy for being cruel and greedy. Dae-ho brought up a map on the main screen. The signal is coming from the shattered belt. Several crew members made worried sounds. The shattered belt was famous. It was a huge field of asteroids with gravity that pulled in strange directions. Radiation storms happened without warning. Ships that went in rarely came out. Even the big galactic navies stayed away from it. "How many ships?" Tae-sung asked. 6 Velen civilian transports, Lieutenant Soo-jin said. She was checking the data that came with the distress call. "No weapons, no armor. They're colony ships, not military. The message says 2,000 people, including children." "And the Krathar?" "Unknown number, but they have the Velens trapped in the belt. They're picking them apart slowly." Tae-sung thought about this. The Velens were peaceful people. He had read about them during his training. They were tall and thin with weak bones. They were philosophers and artists. They had never hurt anyone. And now they were dying because pirates wanted their cargo. "We should contact command," Dae-ho said. "Get orders before we do anything." "That will take 3 hours just for the message to reach them," Ji-won said. "And 3 more hours to get a reply back. These people don't have 6 hours. Tae-sung looked at the map again. The shattered belt was marked in red on all the navigation charts. Ships were supposed to avoid it. Going in there would be against regulations. It would be dangerous. Smart people would wait for orders. But Tae-sung had not joined the human fleet to be safe. None of them had. "Ji-won, send a message to the Relentless and the Thunderstrike. Tell Captains Hee-won and Woo-jin to meet me on a private channel." He sat down in his captain's chair and waited. 2 faces appeared on his screen. Captain Hee-won looked tired. She had been running combat drills with her crew. Captain Woo-jin was eating something, probably his dinner. "You got the distress call?" Tae-sung asked. Both of them nodded. "We can reach them in 4 hours if we push the engines," Hee-won said. "But we'd have to go through the belt. The regulations say we need authorization from command before entering hazardous zones," Woo-jin added. But he did not sound like he cared much about regulations. 2,000 people, Tae-sung said. "Civilians, children. The Krathar are killing them right now while we talk." Silence filled the channel. All 3 captains knew what they were thinking. They had all read the Galactic Council's rules. They knew they were supposed to be careful. They were new to space. And everyone expected them to follow the rules and not cause problems. But they were human. And humans had a bad habit of not listening when the rules meant letting people die. "My crew is ready," Hee-won said. "We can launch in 10 minutes. "Same here," Woo-jin said. "The Thunderstrike will follow your lead." Tae-sung felt something warm in his chest. Pride, maybe. These were good people. Good captains. "Then let's go get them." He closed the channel and stood up. "Dae-ho, set a course for the shattered belt, maximum speed. Soo-jin, get all weapons ready. Ji-won, send a message back to that Velen ship. Tell them help is coming. What should I say if command calls? Daeho asked. Tell them we had a communications error and missed their call, Taesung said with a small smile. We can apologize later. The Indomitable's engines roared to life. The ship turned in space, pointing toward the red zone on the map. Behind it, 2 more human ships did the same. 3 ships against unknown enemies, heading into a place that killed most people who entered. Across the galactic network, automated systems detected the human ships changing course. Warning messages started appearing on screens throughout Council space. Other species saw where the humans were going and could not believe it. The Deathworlders are entering the shattered belt, one admiral said to another. They must not understand the danger. But the humans understood perfectly. They knew exactly how dangerous it was. They just did not care. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Taesung watched the stars blur as they jumped to faster speeds. His crew worked at their stations, calm and focused. They trusted him. They trusted each other. And they were going to save those people or die trying. That was the human way. When someone called for help, you answered. Even if it was stupid. Even if it was dangerous. Even if every smart person in the galaxy would tell you to turn around. You answered the call. 4 hours to the belt, the navigator said. Let's make it 3, Taesung replied. The ship went faster. The shattered belt looked like a wall of death. Millions of asteroids spun through space, crashing into each other. Some were as small as cars. Others were as big as cities. Between them, radiation glowed in sick green colors. Gravity pulled in wrong directions, making space itself feel twisted. Entering the belt now, Pilot Nari said. Her hands moved across the controls. She had been born on Earth where storms could kill you and earthquakes could swallow cities. This was just another dangerous place to her. The Indomitable pushed forward. Asteroids rushed past the windows. Some came so close that the crew could see the ice on their surfaces. Nari turned the ship left, then right, then up. Her movements were smooth and fast. Behind her, the Relentless and Thunderstrike followed. Radiation levels are increasing, Engineer Kai-Young called out. He was watching the ship's systems. Switching power to the shields. The ship shook as a gravity wave hit them. On any other ship, that would have torn the hull apart. But human ships were built different. They were built by people who knew what it meant to survive in bad places. The Indomitable groaned, but held together. How are the other ships? Taesung asked. Both still with us, Jiwon reported. Captain Heewon says this is fun. Some of the crew laughed. That sounded like Heewon. She had once landed a damaged ship in a hurricane and walked away, smiling. I'm picking up the Velen ships, Soo-jin said. Straight ahead, about 20 kilometers. They're in a pocket between 3 large asteroids. Can we reach them? Yes, but it's tight. Really tight. Nari can handle it, Taesung said. The pilot grinned. Watch me. She pushed the ship forward. The gap between the asteroids was barely wide enough. The Indomitable slid through like a knife. Metal scraped against rock for just a second, making a horrible sound. Then they were through. 6 ships floated in the pocket. They were beautiful in a strange way, smooth and curved, like seashells. But they were broken, holes in their sides, pieces floating away. These were ships made for peaceful travel, not fighting. Send them a signal, Taesung ordered. Let them know we're here to help. Jiwon worked her controls. After a moment, one of the Velen ships responded. A face appeared on the screen. The Velen captain was tall with skin like glass. His eyes were huge and dark. He looked terrified. This is Captain Tivesh of the Velen convoy, the alien said. His voice was like music. Who are you? Captain Taesung of the human ship Indomitable. We received your distress call. We're here to get you out. Tivesh stared at him. At his thick bones and heavy muscles. At his forward-facing eyes that marked him as a predator. You're from Earth, the Death World. That's right. How many people do you have? 2,043. But the Krithar? They are everywhere. They will kill you too. Let them try, Taesung said. We're going to... Alarms screamed across the bridge. Soo-jin's screen lit up with red marks. Contacts, 8 ships coming around the asteroids, Krithar raiders. The pirate ships appeared like hungry sharks. They were ugly things, covered in weapons and armor. They had been waiting, playing with the Velans like cats with mice. A message came through. A voice, rough and mean. New ships, this is Krithar Commander Rakthis. You have entered our hunting ground. Leave now or die with them. Tae-sung looked at Daeho. His first officer shook his head. They were not leaving. Jiwon, send a reply. Tell them no. Just no? Just no. The message went out. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the pirate ships opened fire. Energy beams and missiles shot toward the human fleet. Shields up! Return fire! Tae-sung ordered. The Indomitable's weapons came alive. Human weapons were different from what most aliens used. They were loud and violent and overwhelming. Missiles launched in groups. Energy cannons fired so fast they looked like solid beams of light. The pirates had expected easy targets. Instead, they got a fight. One pirate ship exploded as 3 missiles hit it at once. Another tried to run and got caught by weapons fire from the Relentless. Captain Hai-Wan was doing something crazy, flying through the asteroids while shooting backward. It should have been impossible. But she made it look easy. 2 more coming from above, Sujin warned. I see them, Nari said. She spun the Indomitable up and over, moving the ship like it was a fighter instead of a heavy warship. The pirates fired where the ship had been, hitting nothing but empty space. The thunder strike came up beside them. Captain Wu Jin had a different idea. His ship grabbed a small asteroid with a tractor beam. Then he threw it. The rock hit a pirate corvette so hard that the ship crumpled like paper. Did he just throw an asteroid at them? Daeho asked. Yes, Tae-sung said. Yes, he did. The battle was chaos. Asteroids everywhere, ships spinning and shooting. The pirates had numbers, but the humans had something else. They fought like people who grew up on a world that tried to kill them every single day. They were creative and aggressive and absolutely refused to die. Another pirate ship broke apart. Then another. The remaining pirates started to pull back. They were not used to this. Their prey was supposed to be afraid. These humans were hunting them instead. They're running, Sujin said. Let them go, Tae-sung ordered. We're here for the Velans, not revenge. The surviving pirate ships disappeared behind the asteroids, but Tae-sung knew they would not go far. Rakthis seemed like the type who did not give up. He would be back with more ships. Damage report, he called out. Shields at 60%. Minor hull damage. Nothing critical, Ki-young reported. The Relentless took some hits, but they're fine, Jiwon said. Thunderstrike is completely undamaged. Tae-sung contacted the Velan captain again. Tavesh looked even more shocked than before. You fought them. You won. We got lucky, but they'll come back with more. We need to get your people out of here now. Our ships are too damaged to fly through the belt. We will slow you down. Then we'll carry you, Tae-sung said, like it was simple. Carry us? But your ships, they cannot hold all of us. Watch us. Tae-sung turned to his crew. Sujin, calculate how many people we can fit on each ship. Daeho, contact Yi-won and Woo-jin. We're doing an emergency evacuation. Ki-young, prepare all cargo bays and extra spaces. Medical Officer Hae-young, get ready to treat wounded. The crew moved fast. They had practiced emergency rescues before, but never anything this big. 2,000 people. And they were so different from humans. So fragile. Outside the window, the Velan ships waited. Inside them, families held each other. Children cried. Everyone thought they were going to die in this awful place. They did not know that humans were very bad at accepting death, especially when it came to other people. All right, Tae-sung said to his crew. Let's bring them home. The first group of Velans came through the airlock, and the humans finally saw what they were trying to save. The aliens were beautiful in a delicate way, tall and thin, with skin that looked like it was made of colored glass. Their bones showed through, glowing softly. They moved slowly, carefully, like any sudden movement might break them. Medical Officer Hae-young stepped forward with her team. She had studied Velan biology, but reading about it and seeing it were different things. These people looked like they might shatter if touched too hard. Please, be gentle, one Velen said. It was a mother holding a small child. We break easily. We'll be careful, Hey Young promised. We're here to help. Marine Sergeant Young Soo and his squad were helping people cross from the Velen ships. They wore their combat armor, which made them look huge and scary. Young Soo was trying to be soft, but his hands were made for holding weapons, not fragile aliens. He reached out to help an elderly Velen. The alien flinched away. Please, your strength, I am old. My bones. Young Soo pulled his hand back like he had touched fire. I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt you. Let me, said one of his Marines, Bora. She was smaller, her touch lighter. She helped the elderly Velen across. Young Soo watched and learned. Strength was not always useful. Sometimes you needed to be gentle, even when wearing armor. On the bridge, Tae-sung was watching the evacuation numbers. How many so far? 400 on our ship, Ji-won reported. 300 on the Relentless. 500 on the Thunderstrike. That's not enough. We need to move faster. But they could not move faster. Every Velen had to be carried carefully. The human ships had gravity and pressure that was comfortable for humans but too strong for Velens. They were putting people in cargo bays with modified environments, in crew quarters, anywhere there was space. Captain, we have a problem, Sujin said. She sounded worried. I'm picking up energy readings. Big ones. Around the asteroids. Tae-sung looked at her screen. Dozens of small objects were lighting up. What am I looking at? Gravity mines. Old ones. Krithar must have planted them years ago to trap prey. She ran the calculations. If they activate all of them at once, they'll create a crushing field. Everything in this pocket will be squeezed like a fist. Can we disable them? Not in time. There are too many. As if hearing them, the mines started to glow brighter. Someone was activating them. Rakthis. The pirate was watching from somewhere, waiting to spring his trap. How long until they reach full power? Tae-sung asked. 20 minutes. And we still have 1,600 people to evacuate. The gravity field was already starting. The Velen ships groaned as invisible forces pulled on them. One ship had a wall collapse inward. The humans could hear the Velen screaming even through the vacuum of space. In the cargo bay, Hae-young felt the deck shake under her feet. What's happening? Gravity trap, Young Soo's radio crackled. Everyone hold on to something. But there was nothing to hold on to for the Velens. They were floating in modified low-gravity zones. When the ship shook again, they tumbled like leaves. Bones snapped. Blood that looked like liquid crystal spilled in the air. We need more time, Hae-young called to the bridge. Tae-sung contacted the other captains. Hai-wan, Woo-jin, are you seeing this? The gravity field, yes, Hai-wan said. It's going to crush the Velen ships like cans. We can't evacuate everyone in time. Silence. All three captains understood what that meant. They would have to choose who to save and who to leave behind. Hundreds would die. Then engineer Kai Young spoke up. Captain, I have an idea. It's completely insane. I like it already. Our ships have structural integrity fields. They're what keep us from being crushed by our own gravity or torn apart in combat. What if we extend them? Create a bubble around this whole pocket. Use our ships as gravity anchors. Daeho shook his head. That would put massive stress on our hulls, more than they were designed to handle. Our ships are overbuilt, Ki-young argued. We design everything for worst-case scenarios. This is what they're for. What about the crew? Hae-young asked over the radio. That much gravity stress, we'll all feel it. We're human, Ki-young said simply. We can take it. Tae-sung thought for exactly 3 seconds. Do it. Send the plan to Hae-wan and Woo-jin, all 3 ships working together. Captain, this is against every safety protocol, Daeho warned. Add it to the list. The 3 human ships moved into position. They formed a triangle around the Velen convoy. Energy flowed between them as their structural integrity fields connected and expanded. A bubble of stable space formed, pushing back against the crushing gravity. The strain hit immediately. The Indomitables' hull screamed. Metal bent. Warning lights filled the bridge. The gravity inside the ship increased. It felt like someone had put weights on everyone's chest. Field holding at 40%, Kai Young said through gritted teeth. Even sitting at his station, he felt crushed. Increasing to 60%. The pressure got worse. Nari tried to lift her arm and found it heavy. Breathing was hard. This was what high gravity felt like. Most species would have already passed out. But humans had evolved fighting gravity every day of their lives. Their bodies knew how to handle this. Structural damage on decks 4 and 5, a damage control officer reported. That was Technician Mi Young. She was running between decks, sealing breaches with emergency foam. I'm on it. How long can we hold this? Tae-sung asked. Unknown, Ki-young said. Maybe an hour, maybe less. Then we have less than an hour to get everyone off those ships. All teams, double time. In the cargo bay, Young-soo felt like he was wearing twice as much armor. Every step was an effort. But he kept moving. His squad kept moving. They went back to the Velen ships again and again, carrying people who weighed almost nothing but felt heavy under the increased gravity. One Velen child, named Piresh, looked up at Young-soo. Are you scared? Young-soo wanted to lie, to say no. But he was scared. He was terrified that the ship would break apart, that they would fail, that people would die. But he was also doing his job. Fear is what you feel before you act, he told the child. I'm too busy acting. Minutes passed like hours. The 3 human ships held the gravity field while their crews worked. Metal groaned. Systems sparked. The pressure was crushing them all, human and ship alike, pushing them to their limits. 1,500 evacuated, Ji-won called out. Her voice was strained. Keep going. 1,600. The Indomitable shuddered. Somewhere deep in the ship, something broke. An explosion echoed through the halls. But the field held. 1,800. Young-soo carried the last group across. An elderly Velen. The same one from before. Thank you, the alien whispered. I do not understand why you do this. Because you needed help, Young-soo said. That's enough. All Velens accounted for, Hae-young finally reported. 2,043 souls on board. Kai-young, collapse the field, Tae-sung ordered. The bubble disappeared. The 3 human ships groaned with relief as the terrible pressure eased. But the gravity mines were still active. The pocket was collapsing. Get us out of here, Tae-sung said. The Indomitable turned and pushed forward. Behind it, the Velen ships crumpled like paper, crushed by forces that would have killed everyone inside. But everyone was safe now, packed into human ships, scared and confused, but alive. All alive. The 3 human ships limped away from the collapsing pocket. Behind them, the Velen convoy was nothing but twisted metal and dust. If they had been 5 minutes slower, everyone would have died in there. But there was no time to celebrate. On every sensor screen, red dots appeared. Ships. Lots of them. 20 contacts, Sujin reported. All Krithar. They're coming from every direction. Tae-sung pulled up the tactical display. The pirates had them surrounded. Rakthis had brought his entire fleet. This was not about cargo anymore. This was about revenge. A message came through. The pirate commander's face filled the screen. He looked like a reptile with scales and cold eyes. You cost me ships, human. Cost me reputation. Now I will take everything from you. Your ships, your lives, and those Velens you think you saved. You can try, Tae-sung said. Trying? No. I will succeed. You are damaged, slow. Carrying refugees. You cannot fight. You cannot run. You will die here. The channel closed. The pirate ships moved closer, spreading out to block every escape route. Rakthis was right about one thing. The human ships were damaged. Their shields were low. Their weapons had used most of their ammunition, and they were carrying 2,000 fragile passengers who could not survive combat maneuvers. We can't fight them all, Dae-ho said quietly. Not like this. Tae-sung knew he was right. 3 ships against 20. Damaged ships. It was suicide to fight. But running would not work either. The pirates were faster right now. Captain Haiwan, Captain Wujin, Taesung called on the private channel. I have a plan. Both captains appeared on his screen. They looked tired but alert. We split up, Taesung said. 3 different routes through the belt forced them to divide their fleet. That makes us weaker individually, Wujin pointed out. But it increases the chance that at least one ship gets through. We can't save everyone if we all die together. This way, at least some of the Velans survive. Haiwan nodded slowly. Which route do you want? I'll take the center path, the most dangerous one. That should draw the most pirates. You two take the side routes. Lighter resistance. You'll get yourself killed, Haiwan said. Maybe. But I'll take a lot of them with me, and you'll get your people to safety. There was silence. Then Wujin smiled. You're a terrible liar. You think you can make it through? I think we all can, Taesung admitted. But if I'm wrong, at least we tried. See you on the other side, Haiwan said. The 3 ships split apart. The Relentless went left. The Thunderstrike went right. The Indomitable went straight ahead, deeper into the most dangerous part of the shattered belt. The pirates hesitated for a moment, confused. Then they split their fleet. 8 ships followed the Indomitable. 6 went after each of the other human ships. On the bridge, Nari cracked her knuckles. All right, let's show them how Earth girls fly. She pushed the ship forward. Asteroids filled the space ahead like a solid wall. But there were gaps, small spaces between the rocks. Nari aimed for them. The ship twisted sideways, flying through a gap barely wider than its hull. Pirates followed, firing as they came. Energy beams hit asteroids, making them explode. Rocks bounced off the Indomitable's shields. Sujin! I need those mines we have left, Taesung ordered. We only have 12. Then make them count. Sujin launched the mines behind them. They floated in space, invisible and waiting. The first pirate ship flew past one. The mine exploded, tearing the ship in half. Another pirate hit a second mine, then a third. 3 down, Sujin said. 5 still following. The chase continued deeper into the belt. The asteroids were thicker here. The radiation was stronger. Nari was flying on pure instinct now, making turns that should have been impossible. The ship's computer kept screaming warnings that she ignored. Behind them, a pirate ship clipped an asteroid and spun out of control. It crashed into another rock and exploded. 4 left. They're getting smarter, Nari said. Staying back, waiting for us to make a mistake. Then we don't make mistakes, Taesung said. On the Relentless, Captain Haiwan faced her own problems. 6 pirates were chasing her, and they had her trapped between 2 massive asteroids. There was no way forward, no way back, just solid rock on both sides. Captain, we're boxed in, her pilot said. Haiwan studied the asteroids. One was smaller than the other, much smaller. What's the structural integrity of that asteroid? She pointed to the smaller one. Her science officer ran the scan. Ice and loose rock, not very dense. Can we ram through it? Everyone on the bridge stared at her. Captain, that's insane, her first officer said. I know, do it anyway. The Relentless turned toward the asteroid. Its engines roared to full power. The ship accelerated. The crew grabbed onto their seats. The pirates stopped shooting, confused about what was happening. The ship hit the asteroid like a bullet. Ice and rock exploded in every direction. The Relentless shook so hard that lights shattered. But it kept going. The reinforced bow, designed to survive micrometeorite impacts at high speed, smashed through the asteroid and came out the other side. Behind them, the pirates hesitated. They were not willing to risk that kind of damage. By the time they went around, the Relentless was gone. On the Thunderstrike, Captain Wu Jin had a different problem. His ship had the most Velans and the worst damage. When 5 pirates cornered him, he could not run fast enough to escape. Weapons? He asked. Almost empty, his tactical officer said. Shields? 40%. Wu Jin thought for a moment. Launch all defensive drones, all of them, and fire every weapon we have at those asteroids over there. His crew followed orders without question. Hundreds of small drones deployed from the ship. At the same time, every remaining weapon fired at the nearby asteroids. The rocks exploded into millions of pieces. The result was chaos. Debris everywhere. Drones flying in random patterns. The thunder strike disappeared in the cloud of rock and metal. The pirates fired blindly, hitting nothing. Their sensors were confused by all the drones. By the time the cloud cleared, the thunder strike was gone, slowly limping away through a gap in the asteroids. Back on the Indomitable, Tae-sung was down to 2 pirate ships, but they were the smart ones, the survivors. They were not falling for tricks or traps. "Captain, we're not going to lose them," Nari said. "They're too good." In the cargo bay, Velen observer Celeste was watching the humans work. She had recording implants that captured everything. She saw humans with broken bones continuing to work. She saw crew members bleeding but refusing medical treatment because others needed it more. She saw them laugh while alarms screamed. One Velen child, Pyresh, was still asking questions. "Why do you help us? We are nothing to you." Young-soo was sitting nearby, resting for a moment. His armor was cracked. He was pretty sure he had broken a rib. But he smiled at the child. "Your people, that's everything. But you could die." "Yeah, but you won't. That's what matters." On the bridge, Ji-won had an idea. "Captain, I can send a fake distress signal. Make it look like we're disabled. When they get close, we hit them with everything we have left. They won't fall for it. They might. We're damaged. It's believable." Tae-sung nodded. "Do it." The signal went out. The Indomitable stopped moving. It floated in space like a dead ship. The 2 pirate vessels approached carefully. They were suspicious but greedy. A human warship would be a valuable prize. They got closer, closer, almost in range. "Now," Tae-sung ordered. Every weapon on the Indomitable fired at once. The pirates had not expected the ship to have anything left. Both vessels took the full blast. One exploded. The other spun away, crippled and burning. "Clear," Soo-jin said. Tae-sung slumped in his chair. "Ji-won, contact the other ships. Are they all right?" "Relentless is through the belt. Minor damage. Thunderstrike is still in the belt but close to the edge. No pursuit." "And us?" "Free and clear, Captain." The bridge was quiet for a moment. Then someone started laughing. Then everyone was laughing. They had done it. Against all odds, against common sense, against everything that should have killed them, they had done it. All 3 ships. All 2,000 Velens. Everyone was getting out alive. 38 hours after entering the shattered belt, the 3 human ships arrived at Outpost Meridian. The station was huge, a ring of metal spinning in space. Ships from a dozen different species were docked there. None of them looked like they had been through a war. The human ships did. The Indomitable had burns across its hull. Holes sealed with emergency foam. One of its engines was barely working. The Relentless looked like someone had beaten it with a hammer. The Thunderstrike was trailing debris. But they were there. They had made it. Station Control contacted them immediately. "Human vessels, this is Meridian Control. You are showing critical damage. Do you need emergency assistance?" "We need medical teams," Tae-sung replied. "We have 2,000 Velen refugees on board. Many are injured." There was a pause. "Did you say 2,000? "Yes. The entire convoy from the shattered belt." Another pause, longer this time. "Please stand by." The 3 ships docked at the emergency berths. As soon as the airlocks opened, Velen medical teams rushed on board. They stopped when they saw the state of the humans. Tae-sung had a black eye and a cut on his forehead. Daeho was limping. Nari had bandages on both hands. Half the crew looked like they had been in a fight, and they were still working, still helping move the Velen refugees to the medical bays. "You are all injured," a Velen doctor said in shock. "You need treatment." "After everyone else is taken care of," Hae-young said. She had been treating people for 38 hours straight. She looked ready to collapse, but she kept going. The Velens started evacuating to the station. As they left, many of them stopped to touch the humans. A gentle tap on the shoulder, a brush of fingers. It was how Velen said, "Thank you." Captain Tivesh was one of the last to leave. He found Tae-sung on the bridge, staring out at the stars. "Your crew saved us all," Tivesh said. "I do not have words for what you have done." "You don't need words," Tae-sung replied. "Just get your people home safe. The galaxy will hear of this. I promise you." Tivesh was right. Within hours, the story spread across every news network in known space. 3 human ships had entered the Shattered Belt, a place most navies avoided. They had fought off 20 pirate vessels. They had saved 2,000 civilians without losing a single life. At Galactic Council headquarters, admirals were watching the tactical recordings. The data had been sent by the humans' own computers. Everything was there. Every impossible maneuver. Every insane decision. Every moment where they should have died, but did not. "This cannot be accurate," one admiral said. He was from the Quellan species, known for their logic. The gravity levels they endured would kill any crew. "Not Deathworlders," another admiral said. "Look at their biology files. Their bones are 3 times denser than ours. Their muscles are designed for high gravity. They can survive injuries that would kill us instantly. But their tactics, flying through asteroids at those speeds, ramming through rocks, throwing asteroids as weapons. Humans do not think like we do. They see danger differently." A recording played on the screen. It showed Young-soo carrying 3 Velen children while alarms screamed around him. His armor was damaged. He was bleeding. And he was laughing. "They laugh while facing death," the Quellan admiral said quietly. "What kind of species does that?" "The kind we should be very glad are on our side." Ambassador Thiresh arrived at the station 2 days later. He was old and wise, respected across the galaxy. He had met with hundreds of species over his long life, but he had never met humans before. He found Tae-sung in the station's observation deck. The captain was alone, watching repair drones fix his ship. He looked tired. "Captain Tae-sung," Thiresh said. "I am Ambassador Thiresh of the Galactic Council. May I speak with you?" "Of course." They sat together. Thiresh studied the human carefully. Tae-sung had heavy bones and thick muscles, scars on his hands, eyes that looked forward like a predator. But when he spoke, his voice was gentle. "The Council has reviewed your actions," Thiresh said. "You violated 17 regulations. You entered a restricted zone without authorization. You engaged in combat without declaring formal hostilities. You risked your ships and crews for non-allied civilians." "Are we in trouble?" Tae-sung asked. "No. The Velen government has requested that the Council give you their highest honor. Several other species have also made formal requests to establish diplomatic relations with Earth. You have become quite famous. We just did what needed to be done. That is what makes it remarkable. Most species calculate the risks. They weigh the costs. They wait for authorization. You simply acted." Thiresh paused. "The Velens are calling you heroes. They are telling their children stories about the humans who came from the death world and saved them all. We're not heroes. We're just people who couldn't say no." Thiresh smiled. It was a small smile, but it was there. Perhaps that is what heroes are. Down in the medical bay, Celeste was recording her final observations. The Velen historian had captured everything. Now she was preparing her report for the Council. "Humanity is a paradox," she said into her recorder. "They are violent but compassionate, strong but gentle. They come from a world that tried to kill them, and they learned to fight back. But instead of becoming cruel, they became protective. They use their strength to defend the weak. They risk everything to save strangers." She showed footage of Young-soo talking to Piresh, the child who had been so afraid. "I asked one of their warriors if he was afraid. He said fear is what you feel before you act, but he was too busy acting. That is humanity. They feel fear, but they do not let it stop them." The report went to the Council. It was read by leaders across the galaxy, and slowly, opinions began to change. Earth had been classified as a developing world, a species to watch but not to trust with serious responsibilities. Now the Council was updating that classification. Death World, Extreme Class, the official document read. Species shows exceptional capability for survival in hostile environments. Physical characteristics include enhanced strength, durability, and pain tolerance. Psychological characteristics include high aggression, creativity under pressure, and strong protective instincts toward other species. Recommendation: establish formal alliance. Humanity's unique capabilities make them valuable partners in crisis situations. But there was a warning attached. The Krither Syndicate has declared humanity hostile. Bounties have been placed on human ships and captains. This is the first time in galactic history that a major criminal organization has targeted an entire species. Conflict is inevitable. Tae-sung read the warning on his tablet. Ji-won stood beside him, also reading. "They're going to come after us," she said. "Good. Saves us the trouble of hunting them down." "Captain, they're a major criminal empire, thousands of ships, bases across the galaxy. And they prey on people who can't fight back. That ends now." 3 days later, the 3 human ships left Outpost Meridian. They were repaired and resupplied. Their crews were rested, and they had a new mission. The Galactic Council had not officially sanctioned it, but they had not forbidden it either. There was an unspoken understanding. Sometimes the rules needed to bend. The human fleet was going hunting. The Krither had made a mistake. They had attacked people under human protection. They had threatened more civilians. And now they were going to learn what happened when you made an enemy of a Deathworld species. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Tae-sung looked at his crew. "Anyone want to back out? This is going to be dangerous." No one moved. Good, because there are a lot of people out there who need help. People who are scared. People who have given up hope. And we're going to show them that hope is not dead. That someone will come when they call. Nari started the engines. The ship turned away from the station. "Where to, Captain?" she asked. "Intelligence reports say the Krither have a base in the Outer Rim. They use it to launch raids on civilian convoys. I think we should pay them a visit." "Just us?" "For now. But I have a feeling more human ships will be joining us soon. Earth is sending an entire fleet. Turns out saving 2,000 people made us popular back home." The Indomitable jumped to faster-than-light speed. Behind it, the Relentless and Thunderstrike followed. In the cargo bay, Young-soo was teaching some of his Marines about Velen culture. "They're fragile, but they're not weak. They survived in the Shattered Belt for days before we arrived. They have courage. Just a different kind than ours." One Marine asked, "Sergeant, do you think we'll find more people who need help?" "I know we will. The galaxy is big, full of people who are scared and alone. Pirates and criminals who think they can do whatever they want, but they haven't met humanity yet. What makes us different?" Young-soo thought about that. About Earth. Where storms could wipe out cities and animals could kill you without trying. Where humans had to fight every single day just to survive. Where they learned that the only way to beat death was to refuse to accept it. "We're different because we're stubborn," he said finally. "When the galaxy says something is impossible, we do it anyway. When everyone else gives up, we keep going. And when someone needs help, we answer, no matter what." Somewhere in deep space, another distress signal was being sent. Another species under attack. Another group of people who thought no one was coming. They were wrong. Humanity had reached the stars. And they brought with them everything that made them human. The violence and the compassion. The strength and the gentleness. The ability to fight and the willingness to protect. The Krither Syndicate thought they could prey on the weak forever. They thought no one would stop them. They were about to learn that the Deathworlders had arrived. And the Deathworlders did not forgive people who hurt the innocent. The rescue mission was over. The war for a better galaxy had just begun.